Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well and are okay. As you can probably hear, I've got a really bad cold, but I'm all good, so hopefully you can still understand what I'm saying and I won't have a coughing fit while trying to talk to you guys, but it's all good. So today we look into a story that has been a mystery for many years, well over 50 years, and one that I don't think will ever be solved, to be honest with you. So of course I'm talking about Mr. Lord Lucan, a gentleman who killed the family nanny and disappeared overnight. A gentleman that was extremely well connected with some seriously powerful and rich people, and there's, as always, lots of opinions and stories of what happened after and the reasons and so on. So it is a real fascinating one and interesting. So we visit a couple of key locations today, guys. Mainly the house where the murder took place, the pub, the Plumbers Arms, which is just up the road from the house, and the home where Lady Lucan lived, where she lived out her final years. So if you're not familiar with the story, obviously I'm going to give you all that in a second. I do hope you enjoy this video, guys. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, which is absolutely free, doesn't cost anything, just push the button. And yeah, we're going to get a bit more info on Mr. Lord Lucan. Richard John Bingham was born on December the 18th, 1934. After going through school, he would attend the prestigious and respected Eton College, where he would discover a passion and love for all things gambling. After completing his education, he would sign up for the Coldstream Guards in 1953 due to national service. So the Coldstream Guards is a regiment in the British Army, and whenever he wasn't fulfilling his military obligations, if you like, he would spend every spare moment gambling, literally. After leaving the British Army, he would secure employment at a merchant bank, and once again, whenever he wasn't working, he would spend every spare moment he had at the gaming tables. And it was after one specific lucrative evening where he would win big, he would make the decision to leave the bank and become a full-time professional gambler. So in 1963, he was introduced to a lady called Veronica Duncan, and the following November the two would marry. 2 months after the wedding, Richard's father would pass away, and the newlywed couple would inherit the titles the 7th Earl and Countess of Lucan. They would have 3 kids, Francis, George and Camilla, and live in London's affluent Belgravia area. So Lord Lucan was a professional gambler. That's what he did. That's how he earned his money, if you like. And a typical day for Lord Lucan would be him spending the evening until the early hours at the gaming tables. He would go to bed late, wake up around 1-2 o'clock, head over to the exclusive Clermont Club, which is in Berkeley Square in Mayfair in London, have some lunch, and then hang out with his friends and associates, and then he would head back over to the gaming table. So that was a typical day for him, and he was good at what he did to a point. He did have some huge success, as we've already mentioned, but his losses would far outweigh his wins, and that would start to affect his family life and cause problems and concerns. Lady Lucan would tell close friends that her husband was dangerously addicted to gambling and out of control. And as time passed, the relationship would become more strained and would deteriorate further. Lady Lucan's medical health struggles, her mental health struggles, would also become more apparent. She would suffer from postnatal depression following the birth of her 3 kids. She would also be cared for by private nurses and spend time voluntarily in a psychiatric health clinic. So as divorce proceedings were put underway, Lady Lucan would instruct solicitors to act on her behalf and so on. Lord Lucan would encourage to a point Lady Lucan's medication and her doctor's appointments, and he would always make sure her medication was up to date, and she was constantly seen. So in his mind, if he could get his wife sort of documented as not well enough and unable to care for the children, he would gain custody of the 3 kids, and he would almost become obsessed with that mindset, if you like. He'd go as far as to hire a private investigator to watch his wife, or his soon-to-be ex-wife, and the kids, and things would snowball. So don't forget, he still had all this debt, the mountain of debt from his gambling losses, the pressure of the divorce, and eventually the court would grant full custody of all 3 kids to Lady Lucan, and that would push Lord Lucan over the edge to a point. On the 7th of November 1974, which was a Thursday, Lady Lucan was at home with the kids at the family home. So also at the house was Sandra Rivet, who was the family nanny. So Thursdays was normally Sandra Rivet's day off. She was never normally at the house on a Thursday, but on this particular Thursday she happened to be there, lending an extra hand to Lady Lucan and the kids. So she had just put the 2 younger ones to sleep. The older child was in her bedroom watching telly upstairs. Sandra Rivet stuck her head into the bedroom where Lady Lucan was and said, "Look, I'm going to pop down, make some tea. Do you fancy some?" So she's gone down to the kitchen basement. About 20-25 minutes went past and she hadn't come back upstairs. So Lady Lucan has gone to the top of the stairs, which led to the kitchen, to check she was okay. So immediately she realised something wasn't right, because the kitchen lights were off and the kitchen was in total darkness. So as she's standing at the top of the stairs, next to the stairs there was like a cloakroom, and out of the cloakroom someone's jumped out, grabbed her, hit her in the front of the head, and a struggle broke out between the two, and things became very physical, very violent, very quickly. She realised quite soon it was her husband, Lord Lucan. He put his hands all over her face, put his fingers in her mouth. I think she ended up biting his fingers. He would ultimately fall on top of her. He would grab his genitals really tight and squeeze them, forcing him to let go, and that would sort of stop him in his tracks to a point and force him to catch his breath and slow down. And during this time she was continuously screaming at him, shouting at him, "What have you done? Where's Sandra? What's going on?" And he kept saying to her, "She's gone out, she's not here." Eventually, after a couple more minutes, he would turn around and say to her, "Look, I've killed her. She's in the basement." So, thinking very quickly on her feet, quite impressively considering the trauma of what's just gone on, and probably remembering that her kids are still in the house, she took the quick thinking approach of trying to get him on side. So she said to him, "Look, I'm all cut and bruised from us fighting. Help me clean up my face. Let's tidy up, lay low for a couple of days, and I'll help you escape." So they've both gone upstairs. Lord Lucan's checked on their older daughter, who was in her room still watching telly, and then he's gone into one of the other rooms to get a towel or cloth to help clean up Lady Lucan's face. And that was the couple of seconds that Lady Lucan needed. She's used that as a window to get out of the house. She's run out the front of the house, run up the road a couple of 100 yards, and burst into the Plumbers Arms Pub, screaming, "Help me, help me, I've just escaped a murderer." So that is Lord Lucan's home, where he lived with Veronica Lucan, and where he killed the babysitter, or the nanny, in the basement. And the pub that she ran into, the Plumbers Arms, screaming "Murder, murder," is just up there on the left. And the basement where the murder happened would have been down here. Potentially. So Countess Veronica Lucan would have come out of there, stumbled or ran up this road, to the Plumbers Arms Pub, and she ran in screaming murder, murder. So of course those events that happened on that evening play a huge part in this pub, and straight away we've got a sign referencing to Mr. Lord Lucan. They've actually got the Lord Lucan suite here upstairs that you can hire for events. Upstairs in the Lord Lucan suite, available for private hire. And there is absolutely lots and lots of information. Lord Lucan murder mystery at number 46. And they've got leaflets here as well that talk about what happened. It's world famous as a place where on the 7th of November 1974, Lady Lucan burst through the doors covered in blood and fearing for her life. So imagine sitting here having a drink on what seems like a normal, typical evening. And through those doors, Lady Lucan bursts in, covered in blood, screaming that her husband has just murdered the babysitter, and she's just escaped being murdered. So, the ashes of Sandra Rivet were scattered just here on this flower bed. In this area. So guys, we are coming up to the road and the house of where Lady Lucan lived in, and it is just on this road here, up the road from the very exclusive Sloane Square area. And it is this house on the right with the garage doors and the black door. So this is where she was found by police in September 2017 when she passed away, after a neighbour raised the alarm. I think they actually broke that window on the right of the door to get into the property, and they found her passed away. And it is on a really lovely, beautiful mews. And that is the actual property. So, guys, an absolute mystery for over 50 years, and one that I don't think will ever be solved, to be honest. Lord Lucan was officially declared dead in October 1999. His son, George Bingham, wasn't allowed to take his father's seat in the House of Lords. He wasn't allowed to inherit his title. And I don't think they ever issued or officially issued a death certificate either, even though he was officially declared dead. So it is a real mystery. Did he disappear using his contacts and network of wealthy people he had around him? He had an extremely influential group of people around him that he could tap into and ask for help. And did they help him? I know people have dropped hints in other interviews about what happened and what he did and where he went abroad. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I would be really interested, as always. And of course, there's been numerous books and films and documentaries made about him and the potential what happened to him as well. But honestly, I don't think we'll ever know. Please let me know in the comments down below, guys. Please like the video, as always. Subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Take it easy.